What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got a new, scenario pack. And it looks good. It is Mojo Mania, and if you've been reading a lot of Marvel comics, Mojo's one of those ones that kind of pops up. Now, it's very much an X-Men villain, over and above other things. But don't get me wrong, Mojo's made the rounds. And Mojo basically runs a TV network. And that is replicated awesomely. Now, what we've actually got in this particular pack is we've got 3 scenarios that can be played as separate scenarios or can be played as a little mini campaign, which sounds fun. And they are very, very different. Once again, massive kudos to the designers of the game for just continually mixing it up. It's wonderful. So we start off against Magog. Now, Magog, we got 1 scheme to attack, 10 hit points, nothing major here. After Magog attacks and damages a character, place 1 ratings counter on the champion. And when Magog would be defeated, reset his hit points to 10, and then place 3 ratings counters per player on the challengers, and deal each player 1 face down encounter card. Yeah. So when you beat Magog, you don't actually beat Magog, you just get some rating counters. What's going on? Well, we've got 2 environments, the champion and the challengers. So the champion, booing crowd, if there are at least 5 ratings counters here per player, flip this environment but keep the ratings counters. Then we end up with cheering crowd. After the champion flips to this side, each player draws a card, yay! But if there are at least 10 ratings counters per player, Magog wins and the player loses. But then on the flip side, we've got the challengers. If there are at least 5 rating counters here, flip the environment. That's on the booing crowd side. Okay. And then when you flip it, you get to the cheering crowd. After the challengers flips to this side, search the encounter deck and discard pile for surprise contender and put it into play engaged with the first player. If it is already in play, give it a tough status card, and if there are 10 ratings counters here, you wow the crowd and players win the game. For what it's worth, Surprise Challenger is actually not, or Contender is not actually that amazing. 1 scheme, 2 attack, villainous, 7 health, and after Surprise Contender attacks and damages a character, place 1 ratings counter on the champion, so you need to take him down quickly. When defeated, you place 2 ratings characters per player on the challengers. And basically, that's how the game rolls here. Yes, you do want to be fighting Magog, but only to place ratings counters. And if you get flipped and 10 rating counters on before your opponent, before the villain, you win. And if you don't, you lose. There we go. The main scheme is melee in the Mojo. The players cannot win the game unless they wow the crowd as the challengers. So it's only 6 scheme per player to actually win this, and it's 2 scheme per player at the end of every villain phase. But when this scheme would be completed, you place 2 ratings counters per player on the champion and remove all the threat. So yes, this gets completed very, very easily, but all it does is place rating counters. You don't actually lose the game, which makes perfect sense. We've also seen Defend the Title, a treachery card. If you're an alter ego, you place 2 ratings counters on the champion. If your hero mode, Magog attacks you. If a hero defends against this attack and takes no damage, you place 2 ratings counters on the challengers. So here it really is about trying to defend and not take damage so you can get the ratings counters. Because again, that's how you win the game. We've got Jolt of Adrenaline, which gets attached to Magog, gains Retaliate 1 and Stalwart, and after Magog's hit points are reset, you place 1 ratings counter per player on the challengers and discard the card. So, again, you're not beating Magog by running his HP down, but actually you are getting yourself closer and closer to winning. And then we've got the side scheme Pump Up the Crowd with 2 acceleration tokens. Bearing in mind 6 is the number to actually win the scheme or to, complete it and get the counters. And it goes up by 2 per player every turn. If this is out, the main scheme is going to be completed like every other turn. It's ridiculous. Every turn if they scheme. But when revealed, if the champion is on the cheering crowd side, place an additional 1 threat per player here. When defeated, place 1 ratings counter per player on the challengers. It's only got 4 threat on there, so it can be removed quite easily, and you need to, because it cannot stay around. It's going to cause a problem. So Magog is a very weird, different kind of scenario, and so is Spiral. Because when you first see Spiral, this looks weird. 1 scheme, and when Spiral would attack, she schemes instead. And Spiral cannot take damage or be stunned, and threat cannot be removed from the main scheme. What's going on? Well, essentially, what we've got here is the main scheme across the Mojoverse. 15 threat to be completed, starts with 1 per player, goes up per turn, 1 per player. And when a show environment would be discarded from the show deck, place it on the bottom of the show deck instead. Okay, that raises some questions. But what we've basically got here is you are going for the search for Spiral side scheme. After the last threat is removed, the player who removed that threat reveals the top card of the show deck and places 3 threat per player here. You can take 2 damage and remove 3 threat from here. You then have cornered a treachery card. When revealed, you flip Spiral to her cornered side, reveal the top card of the show deck, shuffle this card into the show deck, and this effect cannot be cancelled. And then cornered is in the show deck and will hopefully keep coming out. Because when you flip Spiral to her cornered side, 1 scheme, 1 attack, 13 hit points. If there are at least 3 teleport counters here, remove all of them and flip her back to the escape side, where she's invincible, which is bad. But after Spiral activates, you place a teleport counter here. So what you're really doing is chasing her, trying to make sure you flip her over, and then you can actually take her down. But you've only got a couple of turns to do so, because as soon as there are 3 teleport counters, she flips back, and you've got to go through the whole thing again. Yeah, that is a very interesting way to play the game. And then we end up with Mojo. 2 scheme, 1 attack, 16 hit points. After your turn ends, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, bearing in mind that gets you closer to acceleration tokens. Place 1 threat on your hero, for each card discarded this way that does not belong to the Mojo encounter set. Okay. But the thing is, the main scheme is Mojo Mania. When you reveal this, you choose 1 random set-aside encounter set, reveal its show environment, and shuffle its remaining cards into the encounter deck. Yeah, you got a bunch of encounter sets which are set aside and come in as you go through the game. When a character flips or leaves play, remove all threat from that character and move it to this scheme. So it's 25 threat to complete, which is a lot. But it starts with 10 threat, which is a lot. And you've got this threat going onto your characters, which is then transferred over here, which is a bit of a problem. Now, in terms of the environment, these show environments, you've got 6 card encounter sets, and you've got things like crime. These are all obviously themed after TV genres, as you would expect. Crime has Dial M for Mojo. Each other encounter card gains Insight 1. Each friendly character gets +1 thwart. And when revealed, you discard each other setting environment in play. And if this card was revealed from the encounter deck, it gains Surge. Or you've got Fantasy, a game of Mojos. Wonder what that's riffing on. Each player gets +1 hand size. And when revealed, you discard each other setting environment in play. If this card was revealed from the encounter deck, it gains Surge. But it also increases the boosts given, which are not ideal. And going along with the environments, we've got side schemes. So crime has crime scene investigation, hinder 1, threat cannot be removed from other schemes, and you can spend as many science resources as you like to remove that much threat. Or we've got law and order, which is also from crime. Hinder 1, each friendly character gets -2 attack. and you can spend as many energy resources as you like to remove that much threat. Or Fantasy, for instance, has got Fetch Quest, which has got Surge, and when defeated in player order, each player may search their deck for a card and play it for free, which is clearly amazing, incidentally. There are advantages to doing these. Or, for instance, we've got Troll from Fantasy. You'll notice that, that there's basically things to do and then you get bonuses. In a fantasy setting, you do quests and you get rewards. So Troll has 2 attack, 0 scheme, 7 health and toughness. The minion takes 1 additional damage from each card of a printed science resource. And when defeated, the player who defeated the minion can put an ally from their discard pile into play, which is awesome. Or Dragon, who is a 1 scheme 3 attack 10 health minion with retaliate 1 and toughness, and for what it's worth 4 boost counters is nuts. But you double the amount of damage this minion takes from cards of a printed energy resource. And when defeated, each player draws 4 cards. Because when you take down the dragon, you get a reward. And that is exactly what's happening here. Okay, so we've got these modular encounter sets that are themed after TV genres. Nice. How does it all fit in? Well, obviously I showed you Mojo Mania, that when revealed, you choose a set-aside encounter set at random, reveal the show environment, and put the rest of the cards in the encounter deck. But we've also got the environment Wheel of Genres. When it is spinning, there's a forced response after the encounter deck resets. If there are no set-aside modular encounter sets remaining, you lose. If there are, you flip the card, and then it stops. And at the start of set 3 of the villain phase, you randomly choose 1 set-aside modular set and reveal its show environment, and shuffle the rest of that modular set and place it on top of the encounter deck. And then deal the first player 2 face-down encounter cards and flip it. But bearing in mind, you've just taken that set-aside encounter set, shuffled it, put it on top, and then when you get 2 face-down encounter cards, they are going to be cards from the encounter set. It's a way of guaranteeing that these show cards actually end up being useful, which is clearly very, very, mean, but thematically appropriate, I think it's fair to say. And this is how we do it. You've got to try and get rid of Mojo while fighting through all of these different genres before the genre runs out and you lose the game. And I love it. I absolutely love this. This is awesome. So yeah, fun times, ladies and gentlemen. And it does say in the little article there was for the reveal, both Spiral and Mojo scenarios utilize these show modular encounter sets. So when you're talking about the show deck, that's what we're talking about with Spiral. But there is one other card we need to mention quickly. It's Longshot. It's a 1-card encounter set. But, and then as always, you can always, put this into any scenario you like. But it's actually there to help you. So Longshot is free. When it comes out of the encounter deck, you just play it for free. 2 thwart, taking 1 damage. 2 attack, taking 1 damage, free health. But the attacks gain piercing and does not count against your ally limit. And when revealed, you put into play and it gains Surge, which is obviously, so you've got to take a regular encounter card as well, but you get Longshot. It's a way of ever so slightly turning down the difficulty. It's not going to make a huge difference, but it is going to bring down the difficulty a bit, and I like it. This is scheduled for release in the fall. We think all the first lot of X-Men stuff is coming out in September, so we would imagine this is going to be November time. That would be my prediction, along with the Wolverine hero pack, which we know is coming, but is yet to be revealed. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got a new scenario pack. This looks awesome. I'm excited, and seriously, all 3 of these are very, very different to what we've seen before, and I love it. I don't know how the designers keep coming up with these weird and wacky ideas that are completely different from what we've seen before, and I don't really care, honestly, because they do, and it means I get a lot of fun with a very awesome game. But now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these 3 scenarios. Tell me how excited you are for Mojo Mania. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Weiss. That's where we talk card games like Marvel Champions and a bunch of others. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.